Hi guys, we are almost to the end of the week. And if you'll remember last week, we had a fun read aloud of The Dragon Hunters. I hope you enjoyed this book. We love this book in our family. And this book is the first one in a series of books. It's like a group of books. So the second book that we're going to read today is called The Dragon Tamers. What is a tamer? To tame something is to make it calm. Something that's wild, right? Can't, like a dragon, can't really be kept in your house, can it? Like if there's a wild animal, like a wild horse or a wild bear, right? You would have to tame it or calm it down before you could bring it into the house. So this week's book is called The Dragon Tamers, and it's by James Russell, illustrated by Link Choi. And if we open it up, the same as the Dragon Hunters, let me turn my computer, you can see it's got this cool map on the inside cover. The map of the island where our brothers Flynn and Patty live. This is their house right here. So let's see what kind of trouble and adventure they can get into today. The Dragon Tamers. Away across the oceans, where few have dared to roam, upon a wondrous island, a family made its home. Brothers Flynn and Patty are the wildest of boys, with animals for playmates and sticks and shells for toys. Although they love their island home, it cannot be ignored. The lack of other children means the boys are sometimes bored. Sound familiar? The only cure for boredom, as all smart children know, is, of course, to go somewhere you're not allowed to go. The attic, though forbidden, was where the boys were bound to poke among the treasures without the slightest sound. Look at those treasures in their attic. They look a little spooky, don't they? Do you have an attic? Our attic doesn't look anything like that, I can promise you that. Just dust and beams. Quick, said Flynn, come over here and take a look at this. I found a map of land nearby, but something is amiss. Let's look at this word. Amiss. When something is amiss, it's wrong or just not quite right. It seems that every landmark has another secret name, like Tree of Wailing Witches and Ridge of Rising Flame. There's Swamp of Children's Wishes and a hill called Mother's Knee. I'd love to take a closer look at Dragon Hatchery. That night, they stuffed their backpacks with fruit and lemonade and sandwiches that Patty made, sliced ham with marmalade. Just as dawn was breaking, they wrote their mom a note, then tiptoed up the forest path, right past their sleeping goat. Look at this picture. Can you find the sleeping goat? He's right down here. He is sleeping. They didn't wake him. They stopped to make this wish beside the Swamp of Children's Wishes. A carefree year of dining while never doing dishes. I would make that same wish. They paused to have a picnic on the ridge of rising flame. There isn't any smoke, said Flynn. It's really quite a shame. A sudden flame rose skyward and scorched his sandwich bread. Now it's nice and toasty, his little brother said. Look, said Flynn, I think I spy the hill called Mother's Knee, which means that we will soon approach the Dragon Hatchery. It must be out of season, said Patty with a sigh. I cannot see a single egg or dragon in the sky. He sat upon a rock to rest and munch a kiwi fruit. Then, without warning, from his bottom there came a little toot. Beneath him came a sudden jolt, and then a cracking sound. The rock, in fact a dragon's egg, lay open on the ground. "Run!" yelled Flynn, who understood the trouble they were in, but all around them dragons hatched, creating quite a den. What is a den? A den of dragons. A den is a word for the habitat of a wild animal. We've learned about habitats. It's where a wild animal lives. So now all of a sudden they're in the middle of a dragon's den. The boys ran down the mother's knee as fast as they could go. The hope was that they would be quick and all of the dragons slow. In fact, a baby dragon is the equal of a lad. So simple mathematics meant that things were looking bad. The dragons are the equal to the lad. The lads are the boys. So that means that they're just as fast as the boys are. Not looking good. Oh no! Look at that. We've got Flynn and Patty and Coco. They're running just as fast as they can, but look at all those dragons. How do these boys look right now? You know, they look scared, don't they? Really scared. Maybe a little out of breath too. They've been running so fast. Would you be scared if dragons were chasing you? Or would you be excited? "We'll have to be creative," said Patty to his brother. "You're right," said Flynn, "or else we'll be in trouble with our mother." They ran into the forest and hid behind a rock. There they stayed until they'd tricked the baby dragon flock. Having dodged the chasing horde, Flynn was feeling bolder until he felt a scaly claw fall gently on his shoulder. Dun, dun, dun! That dragon wouldn't leave alone poor Patty and his brother. It's possible, it thought, they were its father and its mother. "All right," said Flynn. "It's okay. Come on with us back home, but don't go eating Coco. And leave the goat alone." Now look at the brothers. How do you think they feel now? It's a little hard to tell. Patty looks maybe a little bit worried. Flynn just kind of looks bothered, doesn't he? What about the dragon? Does the dragon look mean? I think the dragon looks silly. He looks pretty sweet, actually. He doesn't look like he's a mean dragon. The sky was turning orange before they reached their house. "Stop here," they said, "and keep it down. Be quiet as a mouse." "You're late," exclaimed their mother. "Your dinner's getting cold. Go and wash those filthy hands. Now do as you've been told." Tidbits filled the pockets of the two young, kindly brothers, who fed them to their dragon friend that night beneath the covers. The dreams of baby dragons and boys are much the same. A life of wild adventure and future fun and games. The end. Look at that last picture. Look at that sweet dragon. He's snuggled up with Coco. You think they're going to be friends? The last book is called The Dragon Riders. So that's the book we'll read next week. But remember, when we started the book, we talked about what the word tamer meant, what it means to be tame. If an animal is wild, you have to tame it. You have to calm it down before you can bring it in the house. Did they do it? They did. Or maybe that dragon really wasn't that wild to begin with, but they were able to tame him and sneak him into the house. Do you think you could sneak a dragon into the house? I don't know. But last week when we read The Dragon Hunters, we talked about Flynn and Patty, how they're on an island. They're by themselves. They're not with any friends. It's just them and their family. And like it said in this week's book, they get pretty bored. So what do we do when we get bored? Well, one thing we can do is we can go on adventures. We can use our imagination, right? And in our imagination, anything is possible. So if you find yourself feeling bored, nothing to do, maybe you've played with all your toys, You've watched all your movies. Go on an adventure. See what you can find. Sneak up into that attic. Not for reals. Don't go in the attic without your parents' permission. But pretend. Maybe find a closet and hide some treasures in there. And just see what you can come up with. And maybe, just maybe, you can find a dragon to tame too.